Hi everybody, my name's Alicia and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and today I'd like to show you a card that I made using the Christmas season bundle. This is a great bundle to have. It's the Christmas to Remember stamp set and the seasoned label dies. The seasoned label dies are really nice because you can use it for so many other things besides just for obviously Christmas cards. I love this die for sentiments. It's so great. So yeah, let's get started. I am new to Stampin' Up! As far as being a demonstrator. I've been stamping for years, but this is my first video, so please bear with me. Okay, so what I used Evening Evergreen cardstock, and I cut that at 4 1/4 by 11. Let's get this stuff out of the way. So as you can see, I cut this at 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it at 5 1/2. So that will be our card base. I also, in Evening Evergreen, I cut a piece that is 4 by 2 1/4, and I embossed that using the Bark 3D embossing folder. For the front of the card, I cut a piece of Painted Christmas Designer Series paper, and this is cut at 4 by 3. So that's all going to be for the front of the card. And then the sentiment is I used basic white cardstock for all my stamping and die cutting. And this is the sentiment. Like I said, I used the season label dies that comes in the Christmas season bundle. And that will be our sentiment for the front. Our holly I stamped in garden green on the basic white. And the berries for the holly are in real red on basic white cardstock that I cut with the die set. For the inside of the card, I cut a piece of basic white cardstock at 5 1/4 by 4, stamped with the sentiment with Evening Evergreen. The holly matches the front of the card. I stamped that in garden green, and I stamped the berries in real red. That will be the inside of the card. As you can see, this is the inside. I always like to do something a little bit on the inside. Just it gives the card a little bit more character. Just a little bit. It's exciting when you get a card and you open it up and it has a little to match the front. I like it. As you can see, this card is a little bit different than the card I'm putting together today. This one, I use the Christmas, the wintry 3D embossing folder, the pine bow. I noticed this morning that that is not available right now at this moment. So that's why I changed to the Bark 3D embossing folder. And then on this card, I used the Bedazzling specialty paper, which is not available right now. But if you have it on hand, you can use it. If you have this embossing folder set, great, go ahead and use it. But I guess what I was going to redo the card, but I thought, why? I am going to show you that if you see a card like this, you can add and change it the way you'd like it, but still keep it similar. So that's why I decided I would change it, and I love this Bark embossing folder, and I thought how great to go with the holly and the designer series paper with the pine bows and the evergreens, and I thought that was just such a good match. And then instead of the bedazzling paper, I used some ribbon. You can use ribbon. You could use a piece of crumb cake cardstock embossed using the Bark 3D embossing folder. The possibilities are endless. Like I said, if you have the bedazzling paper, great, go ahead and use it. I use this ribbon. It is called Fine Art ribbon. It is so pretty. It's like a kind of a crumb cake ivory color ribbon, and then has gold weaved into it. So beautiful. And I'm not tying a bow with it today because we're just going to use it as a border, but it is really easy to tie a bow with. This ribbon is just great. Okay. And then I'm using the rhinestone basic jewels today. Oh, I have a Stampin' Up! Dimensional in there backing. And what's great about these is you could leave them just like they are. But what I did with this card, as you can see, not sure how good you can see, but I wanted the red to match the holly berries. So what I did was I used one of our blend markers, our Stampin' Blends, and I used the Real Red Dark to color the rhinestones. So if you have the Stampin' Blends, you can color these basic jewels any way, any color you'd like. You can also on ribbon use your Stampin' Blends, and we'll do that in another video. So let's get started. So what I want to do is I want to take my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to put this on the bark 3D embossing foil on the Evening Evergreen cardstock. And when it's an embossed piece, I like to put my seal all the way around so that it adheres nice and it doesn't pop up or give you your corners. You don't want your corners to all curl up. And then we're going to take our designer series paper and we're going to adhere that. Like I said, again, you don't need to go all the way around, but and now my Stampin' Seal is just not cooperating. So we're going to attach that just like so. And then we're going to take our ribbon and we are going to glue that down. And then I cut a piece 6 inches. You can take these and fold them under. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this down using our all-purpose liquid glue and then snip the ends off. So a 4-inch piece would be best. And just give your glue a little. There we go. And we're going to put that right there. And that hides your seam from your paper for your Evening Evergreen and your designer series paper. I'm just going to glue that down. Hopefully that stays. And I don't think it wants to stick to the embossing. Let's see if we can get it. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get it to stick. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use some glue dots. Okay, I have my glue dots right here. These are really nice to have on hand. As you can see, my first idea did not work. So we're going to put some glue dots down. I used the liquid glue on the bedazzling paper and I wasn't thinking that it wasn't going to stick to the ribbon. But I think with the metallic gold in there, it wouldn't stick because of the fibers. So let's give this glue dot a whirl. That should stick though. So we got our glue dots. We're going to take our scissors. And we're just going to trim it like so. Like this. And we just want to line it up with our mats. So now we have our ribbon. Now I have a glue dot stuck here. Okay. So now we want to take our sentiment that we stamped in Evening Evergreen on basic white cardstock. And I used, again, the seasonal label dies from the Christmas season bundle. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to add some dimensionals to pop it up, just like so. And we're going to put that in the center. Okay. And then I'm going to take my holly berries and I'm going to set those here. And I'm going to grab my mini dimensionals, and we're only going to need one. And just going to put it on the berry like so, and then we're going to put some liquid glue on the berries that are going to attach to the sentiment tag. Because if you put the dimensionals on all of it, it is not going to sit. It's going to be kind of sticking up. Funny. It's not going to be flat. Okay, so now we have our holly berries, and now we want to take our holly leaves, and we are going to put them, just kind of want to make sure I know which way I want to go. Okay, let's see, I think I want that underneath, like that. Okay. So now I know where I want them placed. I am going to take my liquid glue and run that. This. Put that just like this. Okay, and I'm going to take my other holly leaf and do the same thing, and I'm going to put some liquid glue on there. And we're going to just angle it like that. So there we have the front. I'm going to fold this right like that at my score mark, and then I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to burnish it so that we get a nice crisp fold. Just like that. Okay, and then now I'm going to show you what I was talking about with the rhinestone basic jewels, where you can take your blend markers and you can color them. So you just take your marker, and I knew I wanted to use 2 of the larger ones and 1 medium to mimic the holly berries. So we'll these are alcohol blend markers, and we're going to let them dry a little bit, and then I'm going to take my U-pick tool and just pick them right up off of the paper. This U-pick tool is so nice to have. It's, you know, I have a hard time getting the gems off of the sheet, so this is a really nice tool to have. Okay, so there we have our front of our card done. Set this aside, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our basic weight cardstock that we have for the inside of the card, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to take my liquid glue. I'm just going to run it around like so. Open the card, and we're going to center that and press it down. Like that. So here's the inside of your card. Like I said, the sentiment was stamped in Evening Evergreen, and the holly leaves were in Garden Green, and the holly berries in Real Red. So here's your card, and it's this very similar card, just made slightly different, but here's our cards. And you know, I think they're both beautiful cards. If you need anything or have any questions, please feel free to contact me. You can email me at alicia@expressionsbylish.com. You can find me on Stampin' Up's webpage under Alicia Markfort. Also, you can always find me on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Bye now.